Hi everybody, Rich Mavraganis here with an introduction to a new product called Spider. Now Spider is a 4-channel video encoder. It's actually 5 channels, I'll explain that in a second. Sort of the best way to get to understand how Spider operates is let's look at the back panel. So there are 4 HDMI video inputs as well as 4 analog audio inputs. Of course, you can use the embedded audio inside the HDMI, but if you want to use analog audio, that's fine too. There's 2 video outputs, and one of the video outputs would give you a quad view so you know what is on each of the 4 video inputs, and there's a program output that you can switch to. More about that in just a moment. A couple of USB ports for keyboard and mouse if you want to control it locally, and obviously an Ethernet port because Spider is a streaming and recording encoder.
Now I've plugged an HDMI monitor into the Spider, into the HDMI 1 port in the back. That allows me to monitor what this Spider is doing at any given instant. So I can select different inputs. I'll show you what these all are in just a moment. I can do a picture-in-picture, a quad view. I can even cycle through all of the inputs, and I'll show you how all that works in just a moment. On the front panel, I can also press a button to do record, to take a snapshot image, and to start and stop streaming. So everything's available for simple operation right here on the front panel. Now with your monitor connected to the Spider and a mouse and keyboard plugged into the USB, power on the Spider. After you see the logo display on the HDMI output port on your monitor, right mouse click. The right mouse click will bring you the interface, and you can configure the Spider right there without using a browser. So to configure the Spider, you log into the web interface, or you can reach the same interface by plugging a monitor into the HDMI 1 port in the back of the Spider. Power the Spider on, and in a few moments you'll see the Discover Video Spider logo appear. A few moments later, you should see the output of whatever you've selected on the Spider. In any case, right mouse click on the screen, with a keyboard and mouse plugged into the Spider, of course, and you'll see the same interface I'm showing you here. This is the web interface. Now, for the web interface, you've got to log in. So enter the default admin and 0000 for the password. So let's go ahead and sign in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. We're logged in. And our first screen is our source, and there are 4 video inputs, 4 possible sources of video that the Spider supports. Now you can think of it as a 4-channel encoder with HDMI inputs, and that's indeed true. So I could have an HDMI input, but I could also have a video as an input, a stream as an input, an NDI network stream as an input, or the physical HDMI port. So there's the physical HDMI. Here's an NDI stream where I could put in the group name, the group and the name. I could put in a stream address, a video source file, or an image. So the image and the videos come from a USB storage device plugged into the front of the unit. I currently have a little, actually not that little, I think it's a 500 gig USB storage device, a little thumb drive plugged into the front of my Spider, and I have my files on it. So for my video input number 1, I'm using an image. And we'll see what that looks like in a moment. For video input number 2, I have a video playing, and I've chosen a movie that I've put on here called Happy Feet, and I'm going to tell it to enable it to play over and over again. So when that video ends, it's going to start again. For video input number 3, I also have a movie playing. So let's choose Rango, and we'll go enable that. So that movie is going to play over and over again. And for video input number 4, I have a physical HDMI port. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for all of these, my audio source can be the actual source from the video, in this case HDMI with embedded audio. In other words, the audio comes in the HDMI. Or there's 2 jacks associated with each HDMI port, a line in and a microphone in, and you can plug your audio in there and choose either line in or microphone in. Right? So that is your video sources. Next, let's take a look at the encoder. So there's an encoder for each of the 4 inputs. So whether it's a video file, an HDMI physical port, an image, a stream, NDI, or RTSP, whatever it is, it can come in. By the way, let me go back to the source. I should mention here for, what do I have it? For source number 3, I'm choosing a stream. This is important. So I have an RTSP address. Now this is important because you can buy inexpensive network cameras, maybe well under $100 in some cases, and virtually all cameras, wired or wireless, support the default RTSP protocol. You just have to figure out what the address is to pull it. When I enter the RTSP address here, the Spider is going to pull in that stream, and it's the same as having an HDMI connection, right? So what a terrific way to have 4 RTSP or net cams scattered around, and I can bring all 4 of them into my Spider, stream and record them, and I don't need to push them out on the public internet. So I think you'll find that very useful. Excuse me. Okay, back to our encoder. So our encoder, I have 4 encoders, but I actually have a 5th encoder, which is my program. So keep in mind, I have 4 inputs, and I can arrange those 4 inputs any way that I like. Input 1 only, input 2 only, or I can have picture-in-picture of video 1 and video 2, or a quad view of all of those. However I arrange those inputs, whether it's 1 or 4, I present them to the program encoder. Right? So the program encoder I can select to be any resolution or the same as the input. I don't have to read all of these to you. They're all in the manual. Select the bit rate. I have it set for 2 megabits, and that's pretty much it. Now, I told you there are 5 encoders, 1 for each of the inputs plus a program. Well, there's actually more like 10 encoders because each of the encoders has a sub-encoder. The sub-encoder allows you to encode it at a lower bit rate, lower resolution usually, and push it to a different source so that you can do adaptive bit rate or recordings or stream at a low rate yet record at a high rate. So there's actually 10 encoders. But depending upon how you set up the encoders and what you're doing, you'll want to keep an eye right here on the CPU. You probably don't want the CPU within the Spider to go too high. Right? You could set everything crazy high levels and exceed the CPU, so we let you see what that CPU is doing with the monitor right here. Okay, so there's my my encoder inputs. Next is recording. So yeah, we're going to stream, but maybe we only want to record. So if I'm not doing a live stream, yeah, I could do a live stream and record the live stream, but I can just as well create an event and record it locally and then upload it so I don't even stream live at all. Or do both so that I have a belts and suspenders for recording. Okay, so once again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 individual records plus a program record. I'll go to the program record, and where am I going to record from? The main encoder. I can put in a name, and I can put in certain things like keywords, characters, like I can include the date and maybe, percent M is seconds. So this allows me to have a unique file name so that so I don't have to worry about overwriting files, right? So you can automatically put in keywords, and I don't have to put in a file extension because I've already said it's going to be a .mp4 because that's the file type. It could have been a .ts or a .mov, but I'm going to make it as a MP4. There's my maximum duration. That doesn't mean that I can't stop it at any time, but after this duration, in this case 60 seconds, it's automatically going to stop. So that's it. Then I can hit apply, and anytime I want to start record, hit the record button or set the record on the front panel, right? The front panel of the Spider, there's a little button that says record. Now be careful, because if you don't want to record all four and the program, you want to make sure they're set for disable, because anything that's set to main encoder and so on, anything that is enabled is going to record. So if you hit record, you can record 1, 2, 3, 4, and your program all at the same time. And in fact, if you have your sub records turned on, you can actually make 10 simultaneous recordings, all at different bit rates and resolutions. So pay attention to that, right? So when you're done recording, or when it's automatically done recording, you can go here to FTP. Here you'll want to put in your server, in this case Devos Video, your account password, and whether it's passive or active FTP, and tell it to record to the device, which is a USB plugged into the front of the Spider, and then automatically upload that just recorded video when it's done recording, whether it's stopped automatically or you've pressed the button to tell it to stop recording. And it will upload that video and optionally delete it from the USB so you don't run out of disk space. Or you can go here and select any of the videos that you've recorded, press upload, and you can upload directly to the server right from this interface. Pretty neat. Okay, so that's for recording and uploading any recorded video. Let's get rid of that. Let's go over here to streaming. So again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and your program stream. And your stream could be HLS. It'll create an HLS stream that you can pull from the Spider, an NDI stream, RTMP, and RTSP, as well as a multicast TS stream, right? We're going to do RTMP. So here I'm going to put in my server and stream name address. If I optionally need an account and a password, I can do that. Go ahead and hit apply, and when I press start stream, this program stream is going to be sent to the server as a live stream. I can also take snapshots. So anytime I press the button on the front of the panel, to take a snapshot, it'll do that in this format, JPEG or bitmap, with this file name. And again, it can optionally automatically upload whatever I just took a snapshot of to the server. Right, so snapshot includes FTP. I'm not going to go through the CGI too much. CGI allows you to put a text or graphic overlay anywhere on your screen. So here's some text, or if you want an image, you can upload an image. You can play with this, set the X and Y coordinates, what the text is going to say. In this case, this text would read program, PGM, with date, month, day, hour, minute, and second, and show it at 50/50. Right? You can change the transparency and the text size and so on. Start the CGI, and that will appear as an overlay in your video. And that's true for 1, 2, 3, 4, and program. Now, the program interface is very much the same as what you've already seen on the front panel. So if you press this button, this is going to select full screen 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that's what's going to come out your program. This one will give you a picture-in-picture. So in this case, I have the large video as input 2 and the inserted as video 1 or video 3 or video 4. Here I have a quad view with one of the videos large. And what I'm selecting is which video is the large one. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Here I have a classic quad view. And here I have a cycle. So here it's going to play show video 1, wait, show video 2, wait, show video 3. So it's going to cycle through all of the videos. Again, terrific for security cameras or monitoring multiple videos if you didn't want to do a quad view. And you can even set how often the video is going to cycle. What is that looping period? Next, you have your mixer. So I have the mixer set to the program. So whatever the program is set for is what's going to be the audio coming in that program. In other words, if I select, let me go back here. If I select this one and I say this is video input 1, the audio is going to be 1. And here the audio is going to come from 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. But what about quad? How would I want my audio? Well, I can go to my mixer and I can say I want to use the mixer and I want my channel 1 audio to be very soft, my channel 2 audio to be pretty loud, and so on and so forth. So I can mix how I want my audio to sound whenever it's not obviously just one input. I mentioned that for HDMI output 1, your Multiview, it is you can configure it to display the program or always show the multi-view. In other words, it's always going to show the quad view, so you can always see what is coming in on the 4 video inputs that you have. Right? The video input or HDMI output number 1 is also what you use to control the interface. Right? Remember, right mouse click and you can get to the interface. Next, you have the network itself. So you can set your static address, or you can have DHCP, pretty self-explanatory here. Here is your system, where you can give a name to the device so that the Spider Finder can see the name and you can uniquely identify the unit. You can format the hard drive, or I should say the USB, the external USB. Here is where you would do a firmware upgrade. And I think that's, and for remote control of the unit can support Telnet. You can turn that off for security reasons. If you don't want anybody messing with your unit, you might want to shut that off. And then finally, you have status telling you what is going on in the unit. So here you have channel 1 is an image of so many resolution, and your video inputs are all shown here. Right, so that is it. That is the interface for your Spider. I think you'll find the Spider extremely powerful and flexible. If you have any questions, give a call to Discover Video. Thanks.